No technical problem.
No, we really need a producer.
Just had to turn the air off so Ralph can melt.
Need a producer.
Recording.
I run hot.
I will be fine.
Hot.
And everyone else suffers.
Hot Italian. Teaching myself Italian right now. I'm taking an online, I can say it's Duolingo. I don't care. It's going well. I did start it officially back in January, and I did it for 4 months, but then November. I started in November, and then I was chugging along, and then I stopped it for like 5 months, and now I just picked it up again.
Do you get to talk to other people?
No. I was doing Rosetta Stone before, and that one you do, like, you can log on to like an online class, and there's a native speaker who like walks you through stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it because I kept getting stuck on pink and red, and I was saying them wrong, and she kept like, "No, Ralph, it's this, not this," and I was like, "Ah."
I got yelled at by the Rosetta
I got yelled at
lady.
by the online Rosetta Stone teachers.
I should put that on my to-do list actually as winter comes and we try to explore hobbies and things.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love to speak Spanish.
Oh,
and I have a background in it, but I'm beyond rusty because it's been forever.
You should. I recommend Duolingo. I really like it. A lot of my friends are on it too, so you can like high five each other when you like complete something, or you can do challenges together, and you can like follow each other's progress. So it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, the key for me, if I'm going to do it, is that I need some type of forum afterwards where I can go on and talk. It doesn't have to be a class. I don't even want it to be a class. Be with whoever, chat about life in Spanish to practice, because that's the problem.
It's being immersed in it is the issue. Like, I have people I could talk to in Italian, but I don't. But I need to. Yeah, it's actually sticking with. So I try every day to remind myself, like, I'm just learning like the regular words, like apples and birds and insects. But now I'm forcing myself to, like, when I make breakfast and I grab all the stuff I need to make breakfast, I name it by the Italian word. So like, if I grab a bowl, I'm like, oh, ciotola, and like a fork is a forchetta, and so like I'm like, as I grab stuff, I'm saying it, so it reminds me to think.
That's a good idea.
Think in a Dan. I know how to say.
No,
I know how to say "I love you, sweetheart" in Italian. It's "Ti amo tesoro," and so I started saying that to him, and he's like, "Oh shit, are we doing this again?" Because he remembered from last time. And I'm like, you need to.
You're supposed to say it back.
First of all, you're supposed to say it back. Secondly, you need to support me in this. No, he's fine with it, but he's like, oh man, we're doing this again.
That's funny.
I have a question, a serious question before we start. Do I smell like bug spray?
No.
Okay. Because
Absolutely not.
I was working out.
Now I'm going to start sniffing to see if I can smell it.
No, I was working out in my backyard today, and I had to spray a little on, and it has a unique odor to it.
Yes,
and
I know that odor, and I do not smell it.
Okay, it probably faded. All right,
That was
good.
an important question.
It was because I want to be presentable at all times, and if I forgot that I had sprayed it on.
Yeah, last week it was me wearing, or whatever week it was, me worrying about my feet smelling. They've had
that was last week.
Oh, they have had a couple of hours here. Plus, I have a sandal on, so I don't have the foot concern today.
Okay, good. Yeah, they've aired out.
Yeah, and plus I was freezing cold in that training this morning, so there was no sweating going on.
Yeah, that's I am okay being freezing cold in my bedroom because it helps me sleep sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes if I'm having trouble sleeping, it's probably because the room's not cold enough.
That's like the only place. I literally at night will put the air way down, if it's a really hot day and evening, and then I run into my bed and get under the covers really fast because I can't stand it. So like I won't even have it on before I go to bed.
Yeah.
But then I go to bed and I'm like, all right, you might not be hot now, but like if you don't put some air on, you're gonna wake up sweating.
Oh, that's
so
the worst.
So then I like run into the bed and I get under the covers. Nothing get in my way because the chill will develop.
Right. Yeah. I forgot I was gonna buy myself. I saw these water pillows. They're like water-filled pillows, so you can adjust them to
temperature.
No, it's like the firmness or softness, how you want it.
Okay, when you get this, can I see it?
Yeah, I was gonna, because we have a sleep number bed, so I got that taken care of, but I think my pillows are giving me neck problems, so.
Yeah, we gotta do a whole episode of my neck
Yeah.
problems, we won't.
We'll do a whole neck problem episode.
Yeah, no. I have to make the big announcement.
What big
Of
announcement?
what happened yesterday.
What happened yesterday?
I just told you.
Yeah, but make the announcement.
I went on TikTok.
Yeah! Finally on TikTok!
Yes! I said, it's time. It's time. Because people are like, I can't get off my phone. And I'm like, I don't want to have that problem. I'm not trying to create an addiction to my phone. But I also feel out of the loop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't do that. I don't have trouble putting my phone. If someone texts me, I want to text them back and know about it. But like, I'm not on my phone looking at Instagram or anything all day, and I can't get away. But I felt like I was missing something, so
Yeah,
I've been.
you're gonna
perusing.
catch up on
and you can just like kill time.
all the trends. Yeah, and the stories you interact with, like the videos you interact with, helps you to like curate your feed so you see more of that stuff. So I just had this conversation with somebody this week. My TikTok feed is all Karen videos, cute cute kittens doing cute things, scary stuff like ghost videos or like paranormal stuff, and DIY stuff like house renovations. And I love it. Like, don't even think about it. It's all stuff I love. I just scroll through it. It's amazing. Sometimes I'll throw a weird video in there that I like, but
I learned a new
awesome.
hairstyle.
Already?
Yeah, like I had already kind of done part of this hairstyle, and then she took it to another level.
Already?
And I was like, I just remembered right now because I was looking at it. But mine's like funny videos of singing and dancing, sentimental singing ones. It's some celebrity stuff in there. It's I don't know. It's a bunch of different kinds of stuff. But I don't know. I'm just warming up to the old.
You're just warming up. I can't wait till you start posting.
I did send my friend, because there's one about being a mom in Denver, Colorado. She lives in Denver, so I sent her that. But I don't know how to anyway, I'll get to that later. It's I know how to post it on other sites, but I don't remember my passwords ever, so that's...
Oh, there's a way. If you click the share button on the TikTok, a screen will come up. It'll give you all different ways and all different platforms you can share it to. You could just text the link to somebody too.
Yeah, I did that with my friend. Okay.
Yeah, they don't have to have TikTok.
So we'll let you know how it goes, everyone.
Oh, this is exciting.
Big stuff.
Dawning of the age of Aquarius.
Big stuff.
So today...
Yeah, we're going to jump off from last week.
Jump off of last week about quiet quitting. Huge right now. Dumbest name in the history of forever. But it's like you can't really go anywhere on the internet without looking at something that has to do with quiet quitting. And we talked last week all about how quiet quitting is really just you establishing healthy boundaries.
Yes, taking care of yourself.
Right, taking care of yourself. That's at its base level. That's what it is. And as I was looking through my TikTok feed, I've noticed that a video that I did a while ago about changing careers after 40 started to get more traction. Like, people are starting to just organically watch it more and like it more. And I'm like, oh, I wonder why that is. And I think you said it might be connected to quiet quitting, everything that's happening in the world right now, job hopping, taking care of yourself, trying new things. So I was like, maybe interesting to kind of bundle all those together and see what the nexus is. But finding a new path after a certain age is something that's been knocking around in my head recently.
And I also think, if we want to extend it a little, I don't know if we'll go here or not, but who knows?
The world is our oyster.
Yes, but I think just the whole idea of quiet quitting is not necessarily a new career, but it's a new approach to work and how you do your work, which is sort of loosely related to looking for a new job at 40. So it might not just be necessarily a new job, but also just a whole new way of looking at work and of how work fits into your life.
Mm-hmm. And I always see this as a push and pull between the old way of doing things versus the new way of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak for you, but when I was first getting into the job world and the job market, there were very specific rules about like what your resume is supposed to look like,
mm-hmm.
what was supposed to be on there, and it's really bad if you job hop. You have to like they want to see you like sticking to jobs for a long time, and you don't want to leave, and you have to find the one job that you're going to fall in love with, and you're going to do that forever till you retire. Everything's changed now.
Mm-hmm.
Like people who are entering the workforce now, it's job hopping's fine. You keep trying stuff out till you find something that clicks with you.
Yeah.
It's not so much of a ding against you anymore. Your resume can look totally different, and like quiet quitting can't. I hate saying that.
I don't even like saying it.
I don't even like saying it.
My mouth hates it.
My mouth hates it. My mouth hates the words. The establishing those healthy boundaries at work, is I think an offshoot of that. Of I don't have to do it the way everybody did it before, where I find the job and I stay there forever until I retire.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's interesting to tie this in with finding something new over 40 or over a certain age, because there is that struggle within yourself of, oh my God, I was taught to do this certain way, but now those rules don't really apply anymore.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe even just for those people that went in a direction that maybe a parent or another mentor figure had steered them,
Mm-hmm.
and now 10 years, 15 years, 20 years into doing it, they're finally acknowledging it's not what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
That could be part of it also. And I think that maybe with COVID, I'm sorry, we have to bring this into it because it's a huge part of the whole quiet quitting thing and everything else, but it's just people realized people had to sit with their stuff a whole lot more and look at themselves a whole lot more, and I think people have discovered stuff, and maybe that's that they weren't happy in their career being one of them.
Yeah. And it can be terrifying changing gears, changing lanes after you've been doing something for so long.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sense of security that you're leaving, a sense of, I have known this forever. I have a work family. I have friends here. I've gained a little seniority. It's hard to think like, oh man, I'm going to be starting all over again. I'm going to be the newbie doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that factors into it a lot too, regardless of anything else.
Yeah, being really comfortable. Maybe not happy, but being comfortable.
Yeah.
Because you've been doing it for so long.
Well, and happy, that on the happy part of it, I don't know what it's I was going to call it something cool, but my brain said nope. We're not that cool. The happiness angle of it, if you're changing careers after a long time, there has to be something that you just weren't happy with. Mm-hmm. I think in some aspect.
Right.
Sometimes people will say, oh no, it's just time for me to move on and go do something else. Well, that means that you got bored with what you were doing, or there was something that wasn't fulfilling you. It doesn't have to be, I cry every time I come home from work because it's just so miserable and everybody there hates me.
Right.
It could just be a slow buildup of, slow realization that, oh, maybe this isn't the thing I want to do. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. We get to pick and choose what we do with our life and how we earn our money.
Yeah, and you spend, I forget what the percentage is of time at work. So if it's not something that you're enjoying or getting some type of satisfaction into, I don't think everyone that takes a job loves their job, but gets something from, mm-hmm. and you have the ability to try something different, then, I think I'm glad to see that people are doing this. Like, this is one of those things from COVID. I think it's from COVID anyway. And the shift that I think is so healthy is that I think definitely more people are changing jobs. And I think in doing so, more people are changing careers at the same time too. Mm-hmm.
And this isn't, and again, this is just my point of view, but this isn't on the workers, it's on the companies. If you have a position that you can't fill, that it has high turnover, you have low sense of teamwork and camaraderie and, you know, satisfaction and morale at your business, that's not the people you're hiring. That's you. That's the culture you've created. That's the structure that you've set up at your business and your office that people don't want to stay in. And if you're a business or somebody who owns a business now and you can't hold on to people and you're complaining, oh, it's these young kids that are coming in and think they can just job hop and do whatever they want. No, that's the way it should be. It's on you to create an environment that people want to work at.
Yeah.
You should have people lined up out the door to work at your business if it's a great business. You should be turning people away because you have too many applications, you know? But if you can't hold on to somebody at work, you gotta turn that critical eye inward and say, maybe I need to change something. You know, and I know I'm gonna get pushback from people because I know small business owners who agree 1,000% with the quiet quitting thing and say, you know, people are just too entitled. No, they're just setting up healthy boundaries and they know what they want and they know that they don't have to cling on to a job because that's the only game in town. And they're, you know, oh, if I leave this job, I'll be job hopping and nobody's going to want me. I'll be sullied in the eyes of, you know, oh God, that can open up a whole other can of worms about being, how can I put this?
You said Sully. I thought of that guy that landed the airplane in the water.
Sully Sullenberger. He landed the plane in the Hudson.
Is that on topic? Not.
Because he ran into a flock of geese, right? Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's all. I'm always ready to bring up Sully Sullenberger because national treasure.
Right.
Look him up if you don't know the story. No, it's like this. There's this whole weird. I don't even know if this is the right term, but like this virginal aspect to like, oh, you have to pick one job and you have to marry that job and you can't go cheating on it with other jobs. It's like this weird relationship idea of what.
Yeah.
Am I off?
No, yeah, you're making me think of like just with myself when even it's within my field, but it's outside too. Like when lots of people don't understand what social workers do, or, you know, if you say therapist, people kind of can wrap their head around that one. But I've done a bunch of different things. Like being a therapist and my own business is one thing. I've been in the field for 25 plus years. So like I've done all kinds of things in the field. And for some people that's really weird to hear. Like, oh, you worked in a hospital. Oh, you worked for Department of Human Services. Oh, you worked in, you know, like all these different areas of the field, and people like that it's not that they're criticizing me necessarily, but that's like foreign to them. And even within the field, sometimes people get honed into one area. Like I work in addiction, or I work in foster care, whatever, and they do their whole career in that. Which is totally fine. Yeah. Like I am not in any way saying there's something wrong with that. I never wanted to do that. Like that was never. I had so many areas of interest, and for me personally, think my diverse experience made me a good clinician and good as a social worker. So it's like even within my field and in my path, I've had people kind of not critical, like I said, but like scratching their head sometimes. Like, they're like, what is she? She's been all over the place. What exactly does she do? She said she's a social worker thing.
Yeah, but the journey's not necessarily the bad thing. It's how we then relay that information to people. You know, like I do that myself. I struggle with that a lot with myself because I'm the same way. I've been jumping around, not necessarily a lot recently, but I've had a bunch of weird different jobs in my history. But it took me this long. I'm 46 now. It's like it's took me this long in my life to finally find my groove and settle into what I'm good at. And I've found that all the opportunities that are now presenting themselves, you know, owning my own business, being a part of the comedy community here in the city, and like it all revolves around communication now, and mindset, and how people talk to each other, how we feel about ourselves, how we connect. And it's like, oh, I get it now. Like, it took me this long just to find that niche, and now everything I do, no matter how unrelated they seem, they are, because it's all about my fascination with how we talk to each other, you know? And so whatever you're at in your career, you know, journey, I encourage people to think of it that way. Like, what are the things that all of your different jobs have in common?
Yeah. So
what do you like to do? You know, what attracts you to jobs when you go looking for stuff? It seems like a really simple thing, but it's not. It's like the basis for how we like plan out what jobs we apply for, and, you know, where we're going to live and who we're going to talk to, and the networking and all that stuff. So the more you can nail down that simple stuff, the more everything else will kind of come to you.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, especially if you are shifting, like our topic here, I guess, to a new career. It's being able to sit down and look at what you have done thus far and find the applicable skills, because they're likely very much there. It's just that you have to put another set of glasses on. You got to look at it a little bit differently. How does what I've been doing transfer to what I'm going to do? I'm sure it does. I'm absolutely sure it does. And because part of, I'm going to say something really like simple and basic, most people probably already know, but part of it is selling yourself, right? So you have to be confident and believe in your journey and where you are now, where you're trying to go, in order for someone else to be confident in it. So being able to articulate that as you look at that new career, new job, go on that interview, how much you believe in it and believe in you, which I don't mean to sound like a Hallmark card, but kind of.
Do it.
Like, that's going to transfer. Like, not transfer. People are going to see that, and that's going to speak a lot if you're able to do that. Because maybe they saw it enough to bring you in for an interview. So now you got your foot in the door, so being able to explain. And if it's something you are passionate about, which I realize not everyone gets passionate in their work, even when they do decide to do a career change, but if it is, when you speak about it, people are going to see that, and that is going to be very attractive to other people and to employers if they really see you have a passion or drive for this new career in X thing. It does, because I feel like that I'm not saying that's going to get you the job, just that alone, but I think that that's an important component.
Absolutely. Yeah, the more confidence we can have in ourselves and what's driving us to do what we do, and if we can articulate that strongly and boldly, I think that makes a ton of difference. And now I'm thinking about people who are changing later on, you know, in their lives. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I want to bring up. I'm trying to file it,
organize it,
swirl it around, buffering. I'm sure there's an aspect of what are people going to think. You know, I'm this silly person. You know, I'm the 40-year-old person who's now, you know, thinking about changing careers. Everybody's probably going to think, that's silly. Why are you doing that? Just stick it out. You only have like 20 years left and you can retire. Don't get me started on retiring, because I think that's a whole scam too. But yeah, don't worry about what other people think either, in terms of like, if you gotten to the point where, yeah, I want to try something different, and you're in the position where you can, just do it. Because a lot of times a lot of their pushback is them kind of projecting. And you can say more about projecting.
Sorry,
than
I
I
didn't
can.
mean to, like,
No.
get excited
Yeah, please.
the word.
Yeah, you can say more about projecting than I can.
No, I mean, I think people do that all the time when they're trying to get you to do something or not do something. They're projecting their own stuff onto you, or they're insecure about their own situation. Or they wouldn't be saying, they'd be like saying, oh, go for it. That sounds great, if they felt good about their own, you know? But when they don't, or when they obviously do not, is when somebody starts saying that, well, what about this or what about that? And that's the other thing, is when somebody makes an announcement or whatever, tells someone they're going to do something new and different that's challenging, and when people start saying, well, what about this, and what about your money, and what about that mortgage, and that's just, don't do that. Like, that's Ralph's line. Like, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Nobody wants to hear that. They've already thought about that. We're worried about that already, and that is just very not supportive.
And again, this goes back to an episode we did this season about being supportive for your friends.
Yeah.
Try, the first thing we want to do is try to help people. And I think you may think you're being helpful by pointing out the obvious of like, well, you're going to need a paycheck to pay your bills. You're not going to work for free, right? Yes, I'm sure the people who have been thinking about this long and hard, that's the first thing they thought about is I'm going to find something that pays my bills and my mortgage and all that stuff. So yeah, the best thing you can do if somebody comes to you and is like, yeah, I'm changing careers. This is a really tough decision, but I need to try other stuff. Just be supportive. Listen. Say, oh my God, that's great. What got you here? Like ask them about what they're thinking and, what they're looking forward to. Just be a supportive friend. That's all. You don't have to be the Nancy negative, Susan naysayer.
I don't like her. Nancy negative. I call her negative, whatever.
Oh yeah.
She goes by both.
She answers to both.
She's friends with me. I'm just kidding.
And also, this whole conversation we're having right now is, assuming whoever's changing careers later is in a position where they can do that.
Yeah.
We realize that this isn't where everybody is on their journey, their work journey, but it's still stuff you can think about even if you can't, change careers right now.
Right.
It's still, if you're not happy, it's asking why. It really boils down to asking the question why. Why am I not fulfilled? Why am I not happy? If I had my, perfect world, blue sky, kind of like, I can get whatever I want, what would my perfect job look like? And then break that down like, oh, okay, what I really want is more time with my family. Really, what I really want is to work nights so I can have my day free to do stuff. What I really want is to work within a mile radius of my house. No matter how silly you think it is, those things matter. And then once you can list all of them, you have a long enough list, you kind of can say, oh, this is like, I have enough here as like a sketch of a job that I could really enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a decision to make impulsively, obviously.
No.
That's the thing.
If you're a billionaire, maybe.
Yeah. Something to think about, think through, and to evaluate. Is it the job? Here's my therapy hat. Sorry, it's here.
No, don't apologize.
But it's like you got to really evaluate what's making you unhappy, and it might be more than one thing. I'm sorry if it is, but is it the job? Is the job what you've been focusing on, but it's really not? You have to come up with a plan. This is something you have to think through and you have to be clear on before you do anything. And that can be scary in and of itself, right? Is coming up with the plan of like figuring it all out. That kind of keeps people stuck sometimes. But what I was thinking about, again, I'm sorry I'm bringing up COVID, but like during COVID, how many stories you saw on TV and maybe people you knew that started new businesses and started new things that came out of being at home. Like there's like a zillion different stories about that. Like people that just like, I was trying to do this and then I decided to do this, or I couldn't work because of this and then I tried this. I think that's a lot of what's behind it too. Yeah,
we don't normally have the opportunity to try new things and see what works and what doesn't. And that's one of the downfalls of, the society we live in that is based around capitalism, is there's not a lot of room for error a lot of times. And I mean error in terms of like trial and error. Like I'm going to try this. Oh, it didn't work. I want to try this. We have to have that steady stream of income to like just live peacefully. So And there's different ways you can do it. I just want to be mindful of saying I realize that, a lot of people can't do that, can't do trial and error, because that means, oops, I'm kicked out of my apartment because I can't afford the rent, or I have kids, I have a spouse, I have car payments, I have a mortgage payment, I think it also, a big part of this is how can I live with myself if I don't do this? Mm-hmm. And again, it's, excuse me, I'm getting choked up about this.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm fine. No, I'm okay. It's, I'm putting all this time and energy and effort into this job that I don't really like. Why? And is there something else I could do? Is it that I'm just spending too much time at this job? Maybe the job is the right one for you, but you're just putting too much time and energy into it. Going back to the quiet quitting thing, maybe it's just setting up a more healthy boundaries around your current job and saying, hey, it's not that this job is terrible, it's just taking up a lot of my time. I need to start setting healthy boundaries of, I'm going to close my laptop at 5 and that's it. No emails, no phone calls, no meetings. And if you're a manager, stop making meetings at 4:30.
No one wants to go.
Nobody wants to go. Nobody likes you for doing that. You're not getting any, you don't look like a better manager because you're asking people to go to a meeting at 5 o'clock. No, people hate you because of that. I'm going to tell you right now, people don't like it. No. And especially don't start meetings at 8:30 in the morning. Don't start these weird meetings outside of normal business hours. Normal business hours are there for a reason.
Yeah.
Because before that, I'm waking up, I'm eating breakfast, I'm getting ready for the day, and then after that, I'm going home, and that's my personal time.
Yeah.
When work starts to infringe on that stuff, people don't like you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
a lot of negative Nancy's at that meeting. Those meetings at 8:30 and 4:30, everyone's got to bug up the behind and they're checked out. Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Could this be an email?
Yeah.
Could this have been a short instant message that you sent to everybody? But that's a whole other episode. But I don't know. I there's nothing wrong with wanting to change what you're doing after 40. And I think we're using 40 as that's the halfway point for a lot of people of you should have your stuff figured out already. You should be settled into a job.
I'm in trouble on all these things.
No, nobody's got their stuff figured out 100%. So don't even sweat that part of it. Do your thing, find your joy. There's too many miserable people in the world, and I think a lot of it is they feel stuck. They have lives that aren't fulfilling. They have jobs that aren't fulfilling. They have relationships that aren't fulfilling. Yeah. And they're just afraid to say, no, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know I'm being repetitive a little here, but, another point to all this is to really, again, like I said already, evaluate why you're unhappy. Mm-hmm. It's really important. Because the last thing you want to do is get too focused in on its work when it's not work. So making sure that career shift that you can really, while you're identifying your skill sets that can transfer to your new career and you're evaluating what you're looking for, also make sure maybe before all that you're evaluating exactly what is making you unhappy also. And because sometimes work can really serve as a what's the word?
Pain in the butt.
Like a distraction, like an easy thing to blame for being unhappy. But it's if you, for instance, are somebody that works too much, you work all the time. And so, but you're working all the time because you're avoiding your family and the problems at home, or you don't like to be alone with your thoughts. And then you say, I can't do this anymore. This job is taking up too much of my time. Mm-hmm. The problem is not the job necessarily. The problem is what's going on with you and the way you're using the career or job to try to deal with that or distract from that. So that is a piece to consider before anyone. It's just being very clear You know, because especially in our 40s and 50s, we could have a little midlife crisis and be like, I'm out of here. You know, and like, you just want to make sure that you really do evaluate what the source of the unhappiness is and be sure it's the career before you make a move. I'm in no way trying to discourage anyone from making a change. I think that's great. But I do know I've talked to a lot of people that it never really was the job that was the issue, but they constantly were focused on that.
That's a great point. Yeah, we hide behind, we don't even realize we're hiding behind stuff that we're hiding behind or using as like a crutch or a conduit to skirt around the big issue. That's a great point.
But it can also be the other way around where it's like, oh, it's because my wife is this or my kids are a pain in the butt or I hate mowing the lawn or whatever it is. It can be all this other stuff that you're focused on when really it's the job. So it's like, it's the job is making you so grumpy and so drained that when you aren't at work, you're miserable.
Yeah.
Because you gave it all at work. So it's just you got to look at everything when you make this decision. I hope I'm not going off track.
No, I think that was great. And also, I think a good first step, if this is something that's weighing on somebody out there, take time, take an hour, make yourself a cup of coffee or a hot chocolate or whatever, an Earl Grey, whatever your drink of choice is, a nice calming beverage, sit down in a nice comfy chair, get a notebook or a piece of paper or whatever. And actually, I think get a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. Don't do it on your phone. Don't do it on your laptop.
I agree.
Separate yourself from technology. Old school ways are usually the best for stuff like this. Get a pen, get a piece of paper, a nice beverage, sit in a chair, and give yourself time to just write down what you want. What do I really want out of life right now? What do I really want out of my job right now? What do I really want out of a relationship right now? Put all those things down on a piece of paper and look for things that show up in each of the categories. Because that's a great way to kind of, I really just want more free time to do stuff. Great. I just want to live somewhere warm and like work 2 hours a day. It's possible. I don't know. There's a job out there like that, but you're never going to know until you actually sit down and start writing this stuff down, getting it out of your head. And the sooner you can do that, the sooner you can kind of get a handle on what Kristin was saying about like, it's not the job, it's really my relationship. It's not the job, it's where I'm living. I hate my apartment, I hate my house, I hate the city I'm living in. It's not the job, it's I'm not taking care of myself and my health is kind of going to hell. That's totally valid too, but again, you're never going to know unless you actually examine it. Ask the question, why? Why am I doing this? What do I actually want? And be honest with yourself. If you can't be honest with yourself, you're never going to get anywhere, and you're just going to keep living this repeating cycle forever and ever until you break out of it.
Yeah. And I think that I was just going to be repetitive again. I just think that what's been shifting, I'm not saying the C word again, over the past 2 years, I just think it's been a big, that thing that happened in 20. Like, I just think it's made a big change what people want and how they want their everything to look, what they want to look like. Same thing I said last week and probably a million other weeks. Like, people realize, like you said a couple times too, like that they don't need to be in the office necessarily to get their work done. They don't need to be working a bazillion hours and be sitting at a desk when maybe they were forced to be at home, and now they realize I can get this done in this amount of time, so why am I doing this? And I got all this, all these things that people were forced to realize, really. And I think it's just impacting, some people might have thought they were happy at work before, and then we had the pandemic, and now they're like, oh no, I was not happy. I was happy with the changes that happened because of the pandemic, and that I got to be at home and have dinner with my family every night, and I don't want to go back to that.
Yeah, and I think we're going through a lot of growing pains right now, especially in American society, because people are starting to push back against all these things that we've just taken for granted as like, oh, it's just the way it is. Can't do anything about it, right?
Yeah.
Not doing that anymore. And, you know, the quiet quitting thing is a perfect example of people started to set healthy boundaries, and then the corporations were like, whoa, that's bad. You're quitting because you're taking care of yourself. We don't like that, you know? That means it's working. That means what we're doing is working.
Right.
What you feel is working. And keep doing it and do more of it. So question everything. Insist on putting your health first and your family first and your free time first, and setting healthy boundaries and advocating for yourself, doing all that stuff. And if people are pushing back and saying you're wrong, or, you know, you feel awkward about it, that means it's working. That means you're on the right track. So keep doing it. Get support, talk to your friends, find people at work who feel the same way. I guarantee you, if you're not happy at your job, there's somebody else there who feels the exact same way. Talk to each other, kibitz with each other, go out for a drink, talk about it, because that's how these things become reality. You know, and don't judge yourself too much. No matter what job you have, you could wear a suit and go to a desk on the 35th floor in Center City, or you could, you know, you could be a mechanic, or, you know, whatever your job you have, all of the things we're talking about apply. So, you know, it's never too late to learn something new, to take a night class and, you know, learn a new skill that may get you. Like Italian, learn Spanish. One of the Latin languages, French, Italian, Spanish, they're all related. They all have a common.
Yes.
They all have a common root.
We'll start speaking Italian here, though, because I won't know.
I couldn't.
I'll say "che."
"Che." I can say the horses drink milk. That's about all.
No one's saying that in real life,
because
though.
It doesn't happen.
No.
Italian is a fantasy language.
Did you learn I'm scared of the rhinoceri?
No! I have to look that one up.
It's not on your newsfeed on
It's
TikTok.
not.
I'm sure or not. The rhinos. Still find that funny. Sorry, if you didn't listen to last week's episode.
Hippopotamus. No, rhinos
are fine.
are
sorry,
fine.
Not rhinos.
Rhinos are fine.
Rhinos, he's fine. Hippos.
Hippos.
Forgot. I'm sorry. It was very funny last week.
Yeah, no.
Check out last week's episode. Ralph discusses his fear, maybe disdain for the hippopotamus.
Oh boy. Yeah, all of our contact information is in the show notes. So if you want to learn more about us or contact us, please do that. You can also email us at
heyletmeaskyousomething at Gmail.
Yep.
And yeah, that's what you wanted me to say. Right?
Yep.
Please do. This is a big topic. I'm sure there's so much more to be said. If you guys send us some questions, comments, we can keep going on this, or we'll come up with something else. I say it every time, or a lot of times. Write us. Somebody's got to have a thought or an argument while you're listening to us.
I do get people who listen and they talk to me in person, but yeah, we want to hear more from all over the world, especially Antarctica. I want to hear from people who listen to us in Antarctica.
Yeah.
So this is it for season 4.
Yes, we're going on vacation, which means we're not going anywhere, but we're not recording.
I'm just gonna eat Oreos on my couch. That's all.
Yeah, Ralph encountered the double stuffed vanilla Oreos.
Double stuffed vanilla Oreos
are delicious.
Yeah, they're. It's a good time.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for listening.
Next season.
See you next season.
Enjoy the rest of your summer.
Enjoy the rest of your summer, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.